Before we start the last chapter of the White Handbook, I'd like to remind us why Road Talks Race in general is here. My hope is, my expectation is, that as we begin to think and talk about race and racism in productive new ways, that we will start choosing to move forward, addressing the powerful ripple effects of slavery and segregation that remain. All right, you heard that right. As we begin to think and talk about race and racism in productive new ways. That is why Road Talks Race exists, and that explains how the White Handbook fits in. Productive new ways? Well, if that sounds right to you, then this should sound right to you. If we're going to think and talk in new ways, we need to know what the old ways were. As the curtain closes on this playlist, I just want to be crystal clear that I am not showcasing our dysfunction for fun or entertainment or to browbeat or just to talk bad about my own race. There is a purpose here. I'm trying to have an emotionally impactful reminder, a reminder for our ongoing self-monitoring and our ability to keep ourselves in check as these bad habits crop up.
Your parents taught you a very narrow definition of racism, that only the ugly, obvious stuff is racist. Even though you're older now and could observe otherwise, continue to believe that definition, insist on it, and shoot down attempts to challenge it. As for that stuff other people call racist, if you don't see it or understand it, it's not happening. And if you do see it, still not happening as much as they claim. You will likely become alarmed if it's implied that you yourself did something racist. This response is only natural. After all, you're a good person. And to imply otherwise, that's what's offensive. Any white person who suggests that we white folks change our approach to race or racism is against their own race and should be referred back to this handbook. Accuse any white guy who continues to push back against these guidelines of being a snowflake or a beta male. He'll either wither away in embarrassment or get defensive and try to prove his strength. Either way, he'll fall back in line soon.
Practice using these statements to remind your white friends and family that racism is in the past. All right. The black people today were never slaves. Okay. The black people today were never slaves. The black people today, they were never slaves. We never owned slaves. We never owned slaves. We never owned slaves. Our hands are clean. The only thing left is a few bad apples. The only thing left is a few bad apples. The only thing left is a few bad apples. The only thing left is a few bad apples. I mean, everything is fine. This was a long time ago. We never owned slaves. They were never slaves. The only thing left is a few bad apples.